Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark. Everyone and everything you know will be gone. What will you have after 500 years?
You, Dad. I still have you.
Invincible was a shocking surprise to me. The series at first glance looked like yet another low-budget animated story that could have a watchable first season then get cancelled right after. But that is not what happened at all. Invincible is everything but a cheap and quickly made animated series for kids. Actually, it's not for kids at all. Since its season finale, the streaming show has been the subject of many conversations online and has even generated countless memes. Personally, I love the series for so many reasons, like how it took everything conventional like evil Superman, a teenager discovering his powers, the teenager trying to be his own hero while struggling to find a balance between his normal life and his duties as a hero. Stories like these have been done to death, from Spider-Man to Superman and so on. But the reason Invincible works is because it doesn't lean into those cliches as much as anticipated. Evil Dad turned out to be more of an undercover soldier than a misguided superpowered being. Mark, who carries the name of Invincible, is actually the opposite of what that name suggests, as he gets his ass kicked most of the series. But what's invincible about him is his spirit and his ability to always get back up and fight back. Honestly, stuff like this is why I love the series so much. However, something got to me that made me appreciate Invincible even more outside of its impeccable writing. What I appreciated even more is what this streaming show could mean for the future of animation and comic book series, and why it is such a big deal that such an experiment worked as well as it did. Let's discuss. Invincible is an adaptation of a comic book series of the same name. Published by Image Comics, the series follows Mark Grayson, aka Invincible, a 17-year-old boy whose father is Omni-Man, the Earth's strongest hero, as he develops, under the guidance of his father, into the hero he is meant to be. The comic was written by Robert Kirkman, the man behind the Walking Dead comics. The story of Mark Grayson ran for exactly 15 years before concluding in 2018 with issue number 144. The comic earned a cult following throughout the years because of its realistic storytelling. Kirkman's approach to the story was quite unique, especially in the way he handled violence. While the comic looked as colorful as the more family-friendly ones made by DC and Marvel, with some incredible artwork from Ryan Otley and Cory Walker, the brutality on the pages were shocking to say the least. After the huge success of Kirkman's other baby, The Walking Dead, on AMC, it was only a matter of time before Invincible could get its own adaptation. But there was a big problem. To me, Invincible is very similar to something like Kick-Ass with how realistically it approaches the story on the pages. But the reason it is easier to adapt a comic like Kick-Ass is because of its realistic action. While the story of Invincible is relatable and mature, its action is not grounded like Kick-Ass or even The Walking Dead. The violence was imagined based on the type of real damage superpowered beings could do. So when a man with the power of Superman punches someone in the face, the result of that is going to be realistically violent, but at the same time truly disturbing, which made the comic series unique, but that's also what made it nearly unfilmable. And that's not even a technological problem, it's more of a narrative problem. Yes, we have had comic book TV series like The Boys, but The Boys does not offer the same experience as Invincible. It's nearly impossible to make a live-action version of Invincible that replicates the same heroic feeling of Spider-Man or the Justice League while showing people getting their arms ripped off at the same time. The Boys deconstructs the superhero genre. Invincible reinforces the idea of heroism that the genre is accustomed to, but with no filter or restriction on the action. And while it works on the pages, making a live-action version of that would be extremely challenging and maybe even impossible. So what did Kirkman do? He literally brought the pages to life through animation.
We need to talk.
I really like this quote from Steven Yeun, who plays the protagonist Mark Grayson in the series. Speaking to Den of Geek, this is what he had to say in regards to the choice of going the animation route rather than live action. You can go to places that live action probably isn't able to go, even now. Animation creates a nice separation so that you can examine what the show might be saying without a one-to-one comparison. Like that's an action arm being ripped off, but it's a cartoon arm being ripped off. There is just something different about that. This quote sums up my thoughts on the limitless potential of animation. I've always found it insulting to animation when most people consider it as something exclusively for children. That even the most awesome TV shows need a live action adaptation in order to be taken seriously. In truth, there are just stories that work better in animation form. You can never make a live action Avatar The Last Airbender that's gonna be better than the original animated series. You can never make a live action Dragon Ball that works as well as its animated version, because its silly and over the top premise can only be as effective as it can be in animation form. Just like you cannot capture the feeling of the Invincible comic in live action as well as you can with animation, because again, animation is flexible and allows the creator's vision to reflect more accurately. What's even more impressive is that despite being an animated series, the showrunners still treated Invincible like a normal live-action streaming show. I mean, just look at the cast. J.K. Simmons, Steven Yeun, Zazie Beetz, Seth Rogen, Mark Hamill, Sandra Oh, Walter Goggins, Mahershala Ali. This cast is insane. But most importantly, the show got a runtime of a normal streaming show. All the episodes have a runtime of over 40 minutes, which to be fair has been done before. The Venture Bros, for example, experimented with longer runtimes for special episodes in the attempts to build interest around season premieres or finales. Recently, Star Wars The Bad Batch premiered the series with an hour-long episode. With that being said, it's still fairly rare, especially for a superhero animated series, to have episodes with a runtime above 20 minutes. Invincible didn't do it for its premiere or finale only, it did it for the entirety of the show, and with only 8 episodes, the series felt more like a prestigious limited series than a kids show. When you take into account the focus on the characters over plot, the show has more in common with Watchmen than Young Justice. There has been talks of superhero fatigue for quite some time now, and honestly, I can see why. Anytime I switch on my TV, there is a parody of the Justice League or the Avengers. There's an evil Superman wannabe or an X-Men type of character doing some crazy stuff. Recently, I watched Jupiter's Legacy and I really struggled to finish it because, again, there were not any special or fresh ideas that justified yet another superhero TV show. And the crazy part is that the comics that inspired most of these movies or TV shows don't really have that problem, because the writers and artists don't really have those artistic limitations in the world of comics. You can jump from Alan Moore's Marvel Man to Craig Rucker's Wonder Woman back to Frank Miller's Batman. The same freedom of expression is not always found in live action because of various limitations. For example, the budget to do superheroes justice is insane. I don't know how much Invincible costs, I literally couldn't find that information anywhere, but I bet you anything you want that it costs about 3 times less than something like Suicide Squad. With animation, creators get to experiment, even with lesser known characters. This series got me into Invincible. I had to go out there and read and get invested in the world of Mark Grayson. This animated series did that for me. Hopefully, the success of Invincible will mark the beginning of a new era where animation is taken seriously and where creators respect the audience and do not just assume a bunch of 12-year-olds will be the only ones watching. As for Invincible, the series left me wanting more and I had to stop reading the comics because I wanted to experience the rest of the story on the small screen and I want the series to continue to amaze me. I enjoyed seeing brains getting crushed. I enjoyed seeing Omni-Man train his son, then literally train his son. And I want to continue being amazed by what the people behind this show are able to accomplish. They used the most overlooked formats and made the best superhero TV series of the year. Yes, you heard me right. In a year where we got WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Superman and Lois, Loki, and many more, my favorite superhero show is and will probably still be at the end of this year. And thank you guys for watching this. This video was special to me because this was my 100th video, which is huge. It means I hit the upload button 100 times and that's just crazy to me. I know a lot of people would have stopped making videos with the little amount of subscribers I have, but honestly, I couldn't care less. I never thought I would get 10 people, let alone 300 people interested in my weird takes, so I'm grateful regardless. This channel has gone through a lot of changes, and among those 100 videos, there are some I'm not necessarily proud of in terms of quality, whether it's the quality of the sound or the editing. There are some really badly put together videos in here, but I've left them on the channel because to me, it shows growth. And they are the living proof of my journey as an editor and a creator. So despite their flaws, I'm proud of them just like I'm proud of this channel. I'm gonna take a short break as I prepare for the biggest and most ambitious video I've ever made. And like, I promise I'm not trying to oversell it, but I'm extremely excited. I can't say what the video is about, but let's just say it's the sequel to my Terminator video, but this time it's going to be about another franchise and I cannot wait to get started. Thank you again for watching and for supporting this little tiny channel. And as for me, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.